Whoops. Mr. Hakeem.
Big Mouth.
It is time
Yes, indeed.
for another
Feeling like
episode of the Untitled Goon podcast.
oh, you
Uh,
started it.
yeah, I started it up.
Oh,
Wait, can you say something real quick?
something real quick.
Oh, okay, excellent. Excellent. People can hear you.
Okay, my bad.
Okay, alright, okay, alright. Anyways, welcome to episode 5 of the Untitled Goon podcast. It is I, no wisdom teeth, 9C Salt, joined once again by my boy Hakeem, aka the only one of our friend group who we can call the Obi-Wan of our friend group.
What's good, guys? It's Hakeem here. You already know. Marvin said it best.
Now we're back to having at least more than one person, and and aside from now, I'm gonna try to keep the podcasts to a more standard 1 hour and something minutes kind of length. Just to make the lives of others easier and to hopefully prolong the number of episodes I can do within, I guess, one season. Who knows?
All right, sounds good.
But enough of that. Let's get on to it. Episode 5, Dreaming Big, Big Dreaming. And the title basically says our theme of tonight, dreams, like ambitions and all that sort of things. And to start off this discussion, we're gonna start with this question: is it important to have ambitions in life? Hakeem, do you want to start?
Sure. Yeah, I think it's very important to have goals in life because if you don't have goals in life, it feels very difficult to celebrate your successes and mark how much you've progressed and learned and grown throughout life. Without that, it can kind of seem like you're not heading anywhere and you're just kind of stuck where you are, even though you may be doing things. It's it'd be harder to grasp the concept of progression if you never actually set up any real goals. You can end up feeling stuck, trapped, like you're not really like you're wasting your time.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Um, Especially since I am a person guilty of not really having plans in the future, per se. I mean, I'm taking steps to fix that, I guess, but on some self-improvement, growth type of idea. But yeah, I definitely see what you're coming from with that. Um, it's nice to have ambitions, and nobody's really asking you to be on something on something crazy like that. Sometimes in life you could just have dreams as such as I want to be at least good at this one thing and maybe make something out of it. You might not necessarily be expecting yourself to be like, oh, I'm gonna be the next big thing, but you can at least feel like you're respected in that.
Hmm.
And probably a lot of people out there could use some of that in their minds. Cause I also feel like some people, even though they're trying to help them by telling them, you need to have more ambitions in your life, I feel like sometimes the language comes off as, oh, a little bit more exaggerated than they intended. Like some,
What do you mean? Like, you're lazy, get up off your ass and do
oh,
something?
I mean that's more harsh. I mean like I guess it depending on like the kind of people around you. Some of them will just encourage you like a normal person, like, hey, you need to not trying to rip on you, not trying to force or anything, but you need to, start. You need to have something that you like to do for like from now to like whatever foreseeable future where you while you still can, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
then there's other people who I guess when they feel more like annoyed than like worried or a combination of the two, sometimes to make make the problem seem bigger than it really is, or like they make themselves sound like they expect you to come in with some grand scheme,
Mm-hmm.
which can might feel daunting to people who don't really have like these like big ass like ideas in life, like these big ass schemes where they're gonna be like the big boss, and it feels like it's a lot on their plate.
Mm.
And that's how I feel sometimes whenever my family kind of talks, or at least in terms of my mom and siblings, when they tell me, you know, Marvin, you need to have more ambitions in your life. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of disappointing. I wish I had like real siblings that had like something going on them or whatever like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's harsh, but it's saying it from a good place. But you rather that they didn't say it like that, which is how I feel sometimes.
Mm.
And and even though I have a better idea now on what I want to do, I still feel like, oh, okay, well, I'm just kind of stagnant still, so which is a problem. But I feel like I'm getting better at about it. Like I'm doing this podcast thing, so that
Yeah,
counts for something.
that's progress if anything,
Yeah, yeah.
because it's easier to it's easier to feel like you're not really doing anything if the goals you set are all like big goals. And so like when you set smaller incremental goals, it can feel a lot better towards your overall progression when you accomplish those smaller goals. Like say even something as small as like, you know, tomorrow I'm going to wake up at such and such time and then maintain that schedule for a week or something like that.
I
Even
agree.
something as small as that. And then
Mhm.
every day you're making progress towards that.
Definitely. And like we got like even though, you know, shouldn't like be such a like slouch about it, we still even though we only got like at best on a good life, 80 years in our lifespan. 80 years is still a long time to like do stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a long time.
So, you know, do your thing, and while you do your thing, enjoy life. That's another thing that people complain about me a lot about, like, Marvin, you're not enjoying life. You need to
Mm-hmm.
do stuff. I'm like, well, I'm in college, and I'm kind of broke and unemployed, and even though that's not really an excuse at this point, I'd rather wait till I graduate at this point so that I can start making a living, and at least with that living, I could have more room to do things that might be of interest to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you got to start somewhere.
Mhm. Gotta start somewhere. Um, we kind of touched upon this already when we answered that initial question, but it's like, I guess to what extent should you be like, I guess ambitious? Like, what would be like a good like range? Because it's important to have ambitions, but you gotta also know your limits.
Mm-hmm.
That might be easier said than like being able to describe because like we don't really know what's too big or what's too small of an ambition to go after something
Mm-hmm.
because it's that's a subjective thing. But what would you say would be like a good range
I
if you
think
could if you can put
there
it in
isn't a set
words
range. I think it depends on the person.
and what they want to do?
Exactly. And what exactly you want out of life. And if what you want out of life is something that what you want out of life should be around the same degree that you are ambitious. So say you want a lot of things, you're going to be wanting to set a lot more goals and a lot higher goals because you're going to need to if you're going to want to if you're going to achieve everything that you want to achieve. But if you say you want to achieve less things, say like you just want to do say you just want to do something standard. What's like a standard goal people have, like a white picket fence, a wife and two kids or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Have a decent job.
Mhm.
If you want to do things like that, then I would say like your level of ambition doesn't need to exceed the amount that you think you're gonna the amount of stress that you think you're gonna be able to take on, because you can do that pretty easily at a steady rate without doing anything crazy. It's safe, like it's reliable. But say if you're trying to do something much more, like you're trying to, start up an entire corporation that you want to run on your own and do all these big things involving like large sums of money and things like that, you're gonna need to set a lot more goals and a lot higher goals, because if you don't, you're gonna get swept under the rug by your own lack of ambition to actually see things that you want to get done.
Right. Um, I guess for me, even though I do agree with you, I'm gonna try to set up like a standard depending on what you do. Starting with, you know what? No, let me just go with this like very vague, very general idea. This very general range I got
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like it'll be harder to do it for like specific things because they might end up being the same, but there'll be variations, and I don't know how to describe those variations. So here it goes. No matter what you do, you don't want to end up with such a like pathetic sense of ambition where like your confidence and your capabilities may not really match up to what you have in mind. Like say like you have something, you want to do something big, right? You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
have such a small ambition that you'll get started, but then really you don't really have a bigger picture as you do this. You just be like, okay, I'm here. I don't know what else to do, and
Mm-hmm.
because that will end up leaving you just chilling out the entire time, or like you just
Being
kind of sit
complacent.
there. Yeah, you're just complacent as fuck, and it can happen, you know.
I mean, I laugh, but it's true. It's very true.
Exactly. And then we have like, but you don't want to end up getting like too ambitious to the point where at this point you're just going off of ego, and your ego just overshadowing what you actually can do and what you're actually good at, and you just end up overwhelming yourself with all these expectations, and you just end up like depressed. I mean, both of those extremes are like could lead you to being
Mm-hmm.
like depressed and defeated as fuck, but I feel like it's a lot more noticeable when you're doing it at such a high ambition, high ego. Cause while you're with have that ego, you're just like traveling over like people that you could have been good friends with,
Mm.
and then you just be stuck with people who like plot for you to just fall like hard,
It could be, yeah. Could definitely.
and then after that you're just gonna lose like people. You don't have no trust, no nothing. And not everybody can like live life like that. There's only few examples of people who go around and be like, I made it to the top. All these people under me, whatever,
Trash.
trash. Then only a few can escape with that, and those are people who are like uber rich. And when I
They
say
sold
uber
their
rich,
soul.
hmm,
They sold their soul.
yeah, people sold their soul and who aren't even famous or anything. You don't know who they are, you don't know their names, but they definitely make more money than the people that you do know for the most part, or the people who are practically celebrities in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are people out there who definitely makes more money than the richest people that you think of. Minus like Jeff Bezos, who's known as like the richest dude in the world. But you
Mm.
know, there's a lot of rich people whose names you don't really know, but play a part in like something that's important or
Illuminati.
the Illuminati, the top five. Hey, Illuminati, if you're listening, don't take this the wrong way. I'm just speaking truth. Yeah, y'all too strong. Y'all too strong.
Hmm.
That's kind of a compliment, and that's not this. Don't get it twisted, please. Um, Jokes aside, but yeah. So you want to aim for like, which is something you can say about everything, but you gotta have some kind of middle ground. You got enough ambition to really keep going forward and fully realize an image and the path that you want to take, but you don't want to have too much of it or too little that you become blind on what you want to do. Because sometimes ambition can also show us that, hey, maybe as it turns out, you don't really want to do this, you want to do that, but maybe the thing you're currently doing could be like a sort of gateway to get you there.
That's true. You got to be on the lookout for
If
all
not,
opportunity because tunnel vision can really kill you, and that's something that I struggle with sometimes a lot.
I feel that's something a lot of people struggle with, you know.
Hmm.
But you gotta trust in time, you know. Like
Hmm.
for example, look at half of like your favorite Twitch streamers out there. You know, wherever they stream, they didn't get there like off the bat. You know, they took a lot of time. They took a
Hmm.
good minute getting to where they are right now. Some of them
Sure.
probably didn't even make it to like 1,000 viewers per minute until they reached 35. I don't know. I don't really know anyone specific, but I feel like that's a realistic thing. I feel like some people can like name a few.
Hmm.
And Twitch is a very specific example because it's really something that you have to dedicate time to like all the time, especially when you try and do it full time.
Hmm.
Because there's two roads you can go down with that. It's either you go down a road where you're like, okay, I'm gonna be a variety streamer. I'm gonna stream this variety of games, maybe some. And at this point, it's not just games. Sometimes I'll stream music, maybe me playing music, or sometimes I'll just stream myself talking and giving an opinion. Or you could be like people who specialize in a specific game, like a competitive game, being the easy example. And from there,
Hmm.
you can be like, all right, well, I'm just dedicating my entire career playing this game.
Hmm.
And if your fan base becomes loyal enough, you could be like, okay, I'm gonna move on to playing these games sometimes because everybody gets bored streaming the same thing.
For sure. That's what Shofu did after the Pokemon fan base.
Yeah, sometimes the best path is to stream one thing consistently. And by the time you have enough people that shows up to your stream consistently, you could be like, okay, I'm gonna start streaming different things, and then those who've been there day one because of you yourself,
Hmm.
they're always gonna show up, and you always get your revenue from them. And then the days where you stream the things that initially got you to where you are now, like all big, that'll be like
Hmm.
your bonus, like a holiday bonus of some shit. I need to take it easy when I talk though. My jaw still kind of sore.
Dang. Did they give you any extra
Yeah,
numbing agent?
yeah. I just got in like my painkillers, two of them.
Oh, dang. They hitting through the painkillers. That's crazy.
It's really just my lower jaw that's
Mm.
causing the most like pain,
Those
considering.
are the deeper ones, right?
Hmm.
Those were the deeper ones, right?
Yeah, those were the half erupted ones. Yeah, the ones that weren't even fully grown.
Mm.
The ones that had to put in extra work on, especially when they're trying to pull it out. I already
Mm.
said it before in VC the other day, but it's not fun having like half erupted wisdom tooth because of the bones themselves are still holding on tight on them. Like
Dang. Yeah, they had to pluck them open or something. They had to crack them.
It's like when they did it, because I chose to be just have local anesthesia instead of like being put to sleep. But what happened was they cut it open around,
Mm-hmm.
and then when they realized like, oh, okay, all this bone and sinew is really making it hard for us to really pull it out like the top two.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to bust out a drill to break the bone enough for them to pull it out. But even then, it was like it took them a minute, and I felt the pressure. They had to put in like a lot of effort to take him out. Even then,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not fun. It's also not fun not being able to eat solid foods. Like I like soup, but I also like chicken. So here I am. But that's off topic. So I guess I had this one question to talk about dreams are essential for a more satisfying life, but we basically answered that. We basically said yes.
Yeah,
We basically
essentially.
explained why. So let's just skip that and move on to answering this question, which is what dreams do you have at the moment? What are your current plans, if you don't mind sharing?
My current plan. See, usually I like to keep my plans. I like to keep my plans as simple as possible to explain to people because it takes a lot of energy whenever you end up explaining something that you're gonna do, right?
Mhm.
And it kind of gives you that false sense of satisfaction when you
Right.
tell people about it, and it takes away your energy. So that's one thing that I don't really like to talk about it. But for the sake of the stream, I'll give a little bit of information
Right.
without getting too deep into the specifics. So
Mhm.
basically, the play for me at the moment is to scrounge up a large amount of money to step one, move to California. Step two, scrounge up another large sum of money. And step three, use that large sum of money to enact the third part of the plan, which is going to be the longest, most running part.
Do you want to explain the third part, or is that like the part you don't want to get too deep into?
I'll give a little bit about it. I'll give a little bit about it, like a very small amount. Basically, the plan is to start a multimedia organization,
Okay.
and that's the extent of that I like care to explain right now.
Oh, right. All right. I like that. I wish Kenny was here so I could ask him that, even though I don't think I'm gonna get much of an answer from him.
Mm. He might be able to give you an answer because he's been working on some stuff lately.
Ooh. Damn, now I really wish he was here.
Hmm.
Like, goddamn. I wonder where he's at the moment. He'll probably come by
He
late.
might be asleep.
Oh, yeah, he is working, isn't he? Ah, that's
Maybe.
fine. Ah, that's fine. That's fine. I
Yeah.
wish him
So what
luck
about
on
you,
it.
man? What are yours right now?
What are mine?
Hmm.
Aside from this podcasting and the fact that pretty soon I'm gonna start like a side one with
Hmm.
starring just myself talking about shit.
Hmm.
I think my big goal is to like try to get into like broadcasting, like on the like working radio stations.
Hmm.
Um, because I think at this point, and I guess this is mostly inspiration from this podcast thing.
You want to try to, or you want to do it?
What, like start my own radio show?
No, like to do what you want to do. Do you
Yeah,
want to try to do it, or do you want to do it?
I want to do it.
See?
But yeah, but since I've been inspired by doing this podcast, I want to like, get started in working like a radio station
Okay.
because I've always had a soft spot for that medium of entertainment
Hmm.
because that's been the one that's been stuck with us for like the longest, and it's still going.
Fireside chat.
The fireside chats, you know.
Hmm.
Even then, like stuff like the Breakfast Club and all that are pretty cool. And I guess at
Yeah.
some point I wanna
Sway in the morning. Marvin
Mhm.
in the morning.
Marvin in the morning. Yeah, it's your boy,
Hmm.
the coffee addict Marvin, just chilling as usual. Let's talk about some
Hmm.
stuff. Yeah, I guess like for me, and this is from like the I like talking. I think I like talking. Even
Hmm.
though I'm not like having my face on it, I like having my voice project and talk about stuff.
Hmm.
Even though
Yeah.
I'm usually a person who gets like a lot of stage fright,
Hmm.
but I feel like radio is a good place for me to do what I want to do.
Okay.
And right now my first step is to like as soon as school starts, cause school starts for me again like this Monday that's coming up.
Hmm.
If Because my school has like a radio station like spot, so I was gonna
That's open.
yeah. Well, I have to first see if it's open
Hmm.
because it's the first day of school. I don't know if they got shit started or anything.
Right. Too
But
bad. It's cancel culture, Kenny. You hopped in at the right time.
oh, Kenny, I thought you was asleep. Hey,
I just got back. I just got back home.
hey,
Were you
welcome
working?
back.
Yeah.
Dang, they hit you with the 14 hours?
Some stuff happened. Also,
Oh, okay.
like, I was talking to Melena and Richard.
Oh,
What happened with them?
Oh, nothing bad. We're just catching.
Oh, you were just chilling. Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
thought you
hey,
meant something happened with them. I was like, oh no.
No, no, no.
tell
And
Melina I
for
said.
another,
Oh,
my phone doesn't receive notifications from Discord for some reason. I've been trying to fix that these past few days.
are you sure
Sorry
it's
about
not
that.
off?
No, I have it on. It just doesn't work. Like I even try to like have it fully on, so where like every text I can see, it doesn't work for whatever reason.
That's weird, bro. That's mad weird.
Yeah,
But you're here now, so
yeah. Sorry
welcome.
about that.
It's fine. Welcome, my boy Cancel Culture Kenny, to episode 5. Today's topic is just dreams. Um,
Dreams
yeah,
as an aspiration.
yeah, as an aspirations, bro. And
Okay.
you kind of missed our first topic about like how important aspirations are. You know.
To leading a healthy life,
Mhm.
fulfilling life.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I think everyone has them. I think it's just like attempting them, even if failure is very high. It
Mhm.
still can be satisfying to the sense of like, was in the ring, like the old boxer's mentality. I wasn't the champion, but I was in the ring fighting with some of the best. And even though I failed, I can
Hmm.
say with no regrets that I tried my best and had a great time doing it.
I mean, at least you can say you was fighting the best, even if you lost.
Hmm.
So I mean,
Okay.
because unfortunately, not everyone's meant to be a main character, but that's
Yeah.
no. I mean, I was gonna like in life, not everyone's meant to be a main character. Doesn't necessarily mean that like life is
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Like,
everybody's their
there's
own main character.
plenty of side characters that are a lot more interesting than main characters. Trust me.
That's true in the actual damn television. Sometimes when you just ass at writing good main characters but really good at writing side characters, you just end up with interesting side characters.
Some people, not everybody's a Mary Sue.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
man, I
so
wonder
take
life.
so take what I said with a grain of
Everybody's their
salt.
own main character, but not everybody can be a Mary Sue.
I mean, yeah, we're all our own main characters, with our supporting cast of people around us, but at the same time, like
Hmm.
in the scheme of actual, very few of us can actually be a main character unless you're a political leader or some powerhouse in some kind of way.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's like
busy man.
some like a Michael Jackson
Yeah.
Jackson type of thing, like iconic to the point of it's
Mhm. Mhm.
Mm.
That's how
uh,
it be sometimes.
so I mean, but at the same time though, that doesn't mean that because you'll never be the chances of you not being number
Yeah.
extremely low. You shouldn't. I think you should still try
Oh
for
yeah.
it.
By the way, you might want to mess around with your
You're cutting out.
sensitivity. Yeah.
Oh my bad.
Cutting in
Is it
and
really
out.
low or really high?
You're just cutting in and out.
Yeah. You might
Oh, it's my
wanna.
connection. It's my connection.
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
I'm
Oh,
having a ping spike.
you might have to hit that reconnect.
That's oh,
Ooh,
my boy Kenny. Hey, he's back.
Yeah.
grown.
Kenny. But
Mm.
yeah.
My point to attempt.
Still cutting out. That's crazy.
That was
I'm still
crazy.
cutting out.
Crazy.
Yo, it's like as soon as Kenny comes in, be like, nah, this nigga too smart. Like, we gotta stop him from spreading his knowledge, bro.
Uh-huh.
Someone's
Like
trying to
I was,
Too many
sabotage you.
bars on him.
like I'm literally having these massive pink spikes. I don't know.
Imagine
Hold on.
having ping spikes on Discord. That's crazy. But that
Are they
happens to me sometimes,
gonna
so
hit
I
me with the
can't.
League of Legends pink?
I can't come at you though,
Mm.
'cause that happens to me sometimes.
But all I was saying was don't leave room for
Yeah,
Said what?
don't leave room for
don't leave
regrets.
room.
I could not. I dead ass couldn't hear you. You cut out.
Yeah,
Did you say don't leave room for regret? Is that what he said?
yeah,
Yes.
That's what he said?
yeah. That's what he
Oh,
said.
okay. All right.
Dan, Discord don't like you. But yeah. Now that we got that, let me just
Yeah,
finish
I
up
feel
my
that
point.
for sure.
Mhm. Let me just finish up my point quickly about what I want to do. I want to get into radio, if it means starting off at the bare bottom, and
Mm.
maybe hopefully work my way out to be like, hey, what's up? I'm charismatic. I'm entertaining enough. Put me in a fireside chat, bro. Marvin AM, this show.
Marvin in the morning, baby.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, make
Yeah.
something good, live life. Those are my big plans. And now that you're here, Kenny, I know your connection's a little shoddy, but do you got any aspirations you got going on, big or small?
I want to finish a class on
You want to finish a class on what?
Skillshare.
He said
Oh,
Skillshare.
oh, Skillshare. Hey,
Yeah.
I've been hearing about that. How's that going?
Kenny, did we lose him?
Well,
I think we lost him.
I think we lost him.
I was typing. I'm the
Oh,
goon.
Uh,
oh, you was typing, bro?
in the Good podcast. Oh, he said Pat okay so far.
Okay, okay, hold on. Let me just put the Discord thing over here and try to make this screen bigger so that I can magnify it a bit.
Shout out to Ping Spike.
But yeah, oh, by the way, this podcast is sponsored by no one, not Skillshare, no nothing. But
Hey, but it could be.
hey, it could be though.
Skillshare, y'all could sponsor us. You know what I'm saying, bro? Even though
Yeah,
we don't have the expense.
sponsor us. I promise I'll start like using your service. I got you, bro.
Hey, we already got advertisement. Yeah, Kenny
We're
doing it.
exactly. we just we just gave you a free plug, Skillshare. Come on. But yeah, Oh, I guess this. Here's my last point of aspiration. Moving out of like NYC. Not to anywhere
Put that
specific.
in
It
the
doesn't
note.
have to be outside the state. Probably, but I want to move out to somewhere smaller.
Like a small town Marvin.
Small town
Just a
Marvin.
small town nine. Living in.
Living in a lonely world. Can
You
you
took a
please,
midnight train going
please
anywhere.
spare some coochie?
I'm dead. Oh, that reminded me. Victim culture. That doesn't really fit into tonight, though. We'll save that for a spicier night.
Oh yeah.
You get
Oh
the
yeah,
victim
forgot about
culture.
that.
I'll have to unmute for that one.
Oh boy, oh boy. That mean, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to like try to get everybody ready. Everybody who wants to get involved.
Yeah, we gotta save that for a spicy night. Victim culture, that's no joke.
That is not a joke. I mean, we're gonna make jokes anyways, but
Hmm.
it's a serious topic that needs more than three
Hey, me
people.
too.
And
Hey,
the
me
Me
too.
Too movement. You were supposed to destroy the predators, not fucking lie.
The Onision.
Oh
What's
yeah,
with Onision?
oh yeah. On a side note, yo, that man tried to sue the wrong Chris Hansen, bro. That man was trying to sue a Chris Hansen with the O.
Mm, Chris Hanson. Chris
Dude really
Hanson.
pulled. He even
Hanson.
apparently he even pulled up with like a bulletproof vest under his like cheap ass like suit
That's insane.
and a beanie and sneakers. Like, bro,
That's insane.
don't you
But I
know how
don't
to
have it.
don't you know how
He
to
is.
dress in court, bro?
He's a little off his rocker. I don't put it past him.
Well, I mean, we did kind of ruin. I mean, he did ruin his own career by being a predator, so that's his fault.
I think his career just got. Well, yeah, that's true. He did ruin his career by being a predator. He ruined his whole life, not just his career.
Mhm. I also heard that man tried to get a job at McDonald's, but nigga said no, cause they know who he is.
Mm. Imagine having all that money and not knowing what to do with it. Couldn't do it. Couldn't imagine that.
Mm.
He couldn't think of a better use than to get strung out on drugs and be a predator.
That's what happens when you have a lot of money that you don't know what to
Wait,
do with.
who?
Onision.
Onision.
Wait, what?
Onision.
Yeah.
Strung out on drugs?
Yeah.
Yeah, he clearly was doing drugs.
Oh well, yeah. I thought it was like they said that. I missed that.
Oh no, no, you could see it on his face. Dude was actually a druggie.
To be
I
honest,
don't
I
know what
bet.
kind of drugs, but I know he was on drugs.
That's all he did.
To be honest, I bet it was the drugs that caused him to sue the wrong Chris Hansen.
Crazy.
I got you now, Chris Hansen. Wrong dude. Oh,
More like Prince Lansing. Crazy. You hate
Mm,
to see it.
I hate to see it.
mm. So what else we
Man,
got?
Crown's getting man. That man was trying to get Chris Handsome, dude from Boondocks.
I'm dead. Handsome. Gokaki no jutsu.
Yo, rest in peace, Chris Hansen's butt cheeks. They'll never be the
That
same.
man got clapped.
Literally.
All right, so what else we got, Marvin?
Uh,
What were
I
we about?
okay. So the next part, I guess this is like kind of I guess it's a variation of the whole dreams thing, but instead of dreams specifically, it's mostly talking about okay, like ways of life. So I guess at
Two
this
dreams.
point, yeah. So to start off with, what are you guys looking forward to in the meantime?
In the meantime, between achieving our big goals,
Just in general, like between now and to the foreseeable future, you know.
between
Moving
now and
out.
the foreseeable future.
It
I'm
could
gonna
be
let you
like,
go first, Kenny. What do you?
mhm.
What is yours?
Moving out.
Oh, okay, there it
There it is. See, why you wanna move out, Kenny? Is it because you get better internet in the end?
Yep. No more of these. Got
No
Google
more pins.
Fiber.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Google Fiber.
No more pins.
I'm still mad. Them niggas are never gonna come to New York.
Mm,
It's a sad day indeed.
Hmm.
feel it.
I'll never
What
forget the.
about you?
Yeah, Marvin. Or actually, I guess Marvin. Well, I guess I'll go then since I asked. Uh, I'm looking forward to this is gonna sound kind of like this is gonna sound
What, corny?
kind of angsty.
Oh.
Might catch some niggas off guard.
Okay.
But I'm looking forward to
Base
this
boosted.
is gonna this is kind of sad, but I'm looking forward to knowing what it's like to feel genuine love from a woman. That's no cap.
Keem, you wanna know a secret?
Mm.
Me too.
High key same. High key
Cause
same.
like
Nah, nah, I'm not gonna assume anything, but
I honestly feel like it's I honestly feel like there's just I don't know, man. Like Kenny hit it on the nose the other day. He was
mhm.
talking about the long showers to make up for the gentle the warm touch and affection that you're not getting. That shit just slapped too hard.
Bro,
That shit
this is even
slapped
angsty.
too
This
hard,
kind of sad, bro.
like it's the real though. Like
It is the real. But hey,
like
at least you guys clap cheeks
ate
at
so
some.
many times, man.
Did
It's
you guys
been
at least clap some cheeks at some point in your lives?
I mean that's not important.
I mean, you're right.
That's not really because like that's one thing, but like like having like genuinely having somebody who's like who fucks with you and who's there for you is a completely different feeling.
I know. I just threw that out there just in case. I know you guys ain't like that.
Yeah, but
But I feel you on that. 22 years have I been single. 22 years have I really just seen like half the females I met just be more like other sisters or super cool cousins to me.
mm, yeah, because like I've been in a couple of relationships, but they weren't relationships that like I actually felt fulfilled in. You know what I mean?
You're right. I mean, I see.
Yeah, like it wasn't what I wanted. It wasn't. I just felt like it wasn't reciprocated.
Yeah, that happens to like a lot of people though, so you don't have to
Yeah.
be too hard on yourself. I
No,
mean,
I'm not
going.
being hard on myself. I'm just saying, like, I just really, that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to. That's just, yeah, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to. Because
Hey,
that's the only thing that's outside of my control, pretty much. Because
that's
like
true.
the things that I want to do, I'm already making progress towards. But that's the one thing that's out of my hands until someone else makes a decision to do it.
I feel you. Because there's a lot of people out there who don't find true love until like maybe in their 40s.
Hmm.
So, those things happen. But you know what? I'm rooting for you, bro.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you too, Marvin. It's hard out here for some chimps, man. It's hard out here for some chimps.
Yeah, but I already have a plan to maybe fix that for myself.
Oh yeah.
Losing weight.
Okay. I mean, that's a step.
I mean, that's a step, yeah. I mean, it looks ain't everything, but sometimes knowing that you feel good in a body that you actually want to be in helps a lot.
That's very true. That's incredible. That.
Especially since I'm looking forward to the time I actually make bigger progress than I am now. I can finally wear some nicer looking stuff.
Mm.
Cause let's be honest, some of these brands that you like, they don't really care about big boys or big girls like that.
Yeah.
Even if they say they have extra large shirts, sometimes they be fitting a little bit too tight anyways, and it makes you wonder, is it really for big people or just people with big ass chests from working out? There's a
they said
difference.
you'll have to. They said you'll have to find out.
Yeah, that joke slapped way too hard. Big ass chests.
Let's not get started on the struggles for women with big busts. They're probably
Mhm.
struggling a lot every day.
Yeah.
This bra don't fit me. This shirt don't fit me. I hate having big boobs. This is
Mm.
suffering.
Gotta get hit with that reduction. That gym costs a lot of money.
That is.
Good chunk. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. What are you looking forward to, Marvin?
Well, aside from the things I just said, I guess having my
Yeah.
own car being the biggest one, and also moving out.
Okay.
Because to be honest, I still don't got my own car after all this time of driving, which isn't a big deal, but you know, there's a trust issue going on between me and mostly my mom, cause
I can feel
she don't like the way I drive.
that.
I'm not gonna lie. There are times I mess up and make myself
Hmm.
look bad.
Yeah, well, I mean that's everybody. Nobody's a perfect driver.
Yeah, nobody's a perfect.
Oh,
So
Ace,
That's
what's this?
true.
Special guest
Uh-huh.
Ace for the podcast?
What's
Oh,
good,
y'all are
Ace?
doing a podcast.
Yeah,
Sir,
Oh, that's good.
it was good, Ace.
you care to speak? You care to speak on? You care to speak on anything? Ace?
What y'all got for me?
Okay, so tonight's podcast is about aspirations and dreams, buddy. Man, well, just
Uh,
aspirations. You got any?
um,
Do you got any?
well, I make music, and that's all I live for. I don't fucking know.
Okay, so long story short, the whole music production thing that you mentioned to us many times before.
Yes.
Hey, do you got anything to look forward to?
Yeah, getting a job, releasing albums, uh, having fun. I think that's the most important thing in life, having fun.
Hey,
That's a
Sep,
good thing.
that's a good
A
one
lot of people
actually.
struggle with that sometimes,
Yeah,
especially.
yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's not even their fault. Sometimes it's that, well, I'm working this job and it really doesn't give me room to do anything.
Mm.
You know, depending on what you do, what you're doing in life. But yeah, you know
Mm.
what?
So
Shout out to Ace, everybody. You know what? He's a
Shout
good
out to Ace.
example of like a person who keeps things as bare bones simple, you know, and makes it, and it works for him.
that is true.
So if you ever
Mm.
wanna have an example of someone who keeps his wants bare bones, look at Ace. Just talk to him, and then soon you'll understand the way.
Ace.
I think you'll get a lot of things from talking to me. I don't know if they're conventional things,
They're
but
really not half the time.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Some of them are very
You're
blunt.
looking to break it. You're looking to break the mold. Talk
Yeah, he breaks it, but not really doing much other than providing the most blunt of like approaches.
Mhm.
You know, there's blunt people, but Ace, he's more like an extra reinforced battering ram.
what the fuck?
And then
Busting straight through.
and like he has special coding. Those special coatings is his views and opinions and how he lives life. And that's what makes him stronger than the average battering ram. And
That's how I used to function, not really anymore.
okay, so so you're the Mark II model that has the more tact options, though it's very limited.
I'm not very like listen, I'm not very strong about my like I don't really have very strong opinions anymore. And I'm a lot more like
Well, it's not
carefree
about you
about
having
those things.
strong opinions. It's about how you deliver how you say things mostly.
Dude, you remember myself 2 years ago, the dumbass shit I would say.
Yeah, vaguely.
2018 Ace hitting
Oh
different.
It was
god.
a different time. That was a different era for this man.
Insane. But yeah. So what do we got? Close this
So
out here,
what are
Marvin.
y'all up to? I'm fucking sick as shit, so
Wait, hold on. We
Oh
gotta
yeah,
close it
still.
out.
oh y'all are closing it?
Yeah, we gotta close the stream out. I
We got a
think.
couple more things to talk about though, right?
Yeah.
We got like two more.
Yeah, we got like one more at the very least. And I guess it's like your ideal way of living if you have one in mind.
Mm.
Don't do bad things.
Come
Well, what
on,
is a
Ace.
bad thing?
Uh,
What classifies as a bad thing?
Something that you could get in trouble for.
That's a lot of things, Ace.
That's true. You can get
Don't
in
do
trouble
any of
for a
them.
lot of things.
Oh, fine.
But what if it's something you really want to do?
Don't.
Don't.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, I guess we can leave it as don't commit crimes.
Yeah. Don't break the law.
Okay.
I guess I can go first this
Lawful
time.
neutral.
Yeah, lawful neutral Ace.
Iron Marvin. So, what's your ideal way of living?
Alright, first things first. One, know yourself. You can't live life if you don't know who you are. Two,
That's a lie. I don't know who I am, and I'm living just fine.
that means you do know who you are. You're a blank slate.
Exactly.
Ignoring that. Two, two would be honest with yourself. Now that's more like a follow up of the first one, but sometimes people know who they are, but they try to fight their nature. Don't fight the positive parts.
Don't lie to other people too. Just make it harder on yourself.
That's true. Sometimes some lies are hard to keep up.
Mhm. Lying
Okay,
is a whole
If you
headache.
want to live life the lazy way, just be fucking honest, bro.
yeah, 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 yeah. Just be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then three, this is very important. Pace yourself. Humans don't live long, but we live long enough to take our time. So just like enjoy what's going on in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have nothing to add to
Feel
that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's my wisdom.
Big Marvin wisdom.
And I guess from there you have the good foundations of I guess being more happy with yourself.
Yep. Which a lot of people have trouble with nowadays, but
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here's my
It's
fourth
at an
one.
all-time high. It feels like
Pretty much.
insecurity is at an all-time high, or at least it's just more publicized now.
More places should be like DR. People over there don't sweat anything other than work.
Mm.
We go over there and all you do is drink and just be lit if you're not working.
Mm. What about you, Kenny? What's your ideal way of living?
Um, mm, I guess to keep myself entertained, if I'm being honest, just to keep doing and learning about interesting things around me.
Okay, sounds good.
That's really it. I'm a simple man with simple.
Simple.
I'm a simp.
Not simple, not simp. Don't be a simp. Please, you
Big
gotta have
simping.
you gotta have more self-respect than that.
do
Oh,
you?
Imagine.
You want me to
one more.
post? You want me to post average women for you?
Hold on. One
Mm.
and one more thing.
Mm.
Don't
What's that?
forget. Oh, damn! I'm losing it. I'm losing what I was gonna say. Uh.
You got it.
Wait, wait, wait. Ah, damn. Oh yeah. Don't. You gotta work with what you got in life. Not forever, but sometimes when you end up in a certain place, you can't really control where that is. And sometimes working with what you got also means to not force what you want on others because that only initiate like incite retaliation. Gotta learn to
Mm.
understand each other. It's the only way. Is the only real way to really become a better as a species as a whole. You know, I don't expect like a lot of things to happen. I don't expect people to somehow make places like Japan be more culturally diverse like America is, and I don't expect America to really change a lot of its ideals anytime soon. But you gotta
Mm.
live with what you got and make the best of it. Cause negativity and cynicism sucks when that's all you got to offer. Do 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 do. And that is episode 5 on the Untitled Goon podcast. I am 9C Salt. This
Wait,
is.
I didn't give mine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I thought you did.
No,
Oh,
I
shit.
did.
I didn't get mine either, but I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
you
have
did.
much to say, so.
You did. You did,
You
Ace.
did give yours.
What about you, Keem?
You said don't break the law. Oh, okay. Well, my ideal way of living is to realize my full potential and use my potential to help others realize theirs.
Ooh, spiritual. Keem Master Keem. Hey, is that all?
Yep. That's.
Okay. Now, for
I also
real.
am
It is
very
Oh.
episode
simple.
5 of the Goon
Wait,
podcast.
hold on. Wait, you gotta say something else, Keem?
No, I said I'm also a very simple man, a simp, if you will.
Chill. We're not simps, we're chimps.
And
The
mine is a
Chimp
com.
Sips 2020, baby. Ah, chimping and simping, baby.
No. Oh boy. Okay, but for real now, this is
And
episode
my
five.
ad.
Hmm.
I'm joking.
Oh my god. This is episode 5 of the Untitled Goon podcast, starting Nicey Salt with Keem Kenny and last minute guest Ace. Good night.
Good night.